Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be reviewing the second day of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rookie minicamp that occurred early on May 15th. This is being recorded very late May 15th, very early morning May 16th, but still, we are reviewing day number 2. Again, I'm getting this information on the right-hand side of this video from our friends over at pewterreport.com. As always, I will link their website as well as their YouTube channel. Go subscribe to them, but let's get started. We're going to pretty much read through this entire article today, and it's Bucs Rookie Minicamp Report 515, Trask Improved, Linebacker Shining. This was written by John Ledyard over at pewterreport.com. And, by the way, guys, I'm making this kind of video with, using this information because I can't be there, unfortunately. So I've got to rely on the information of our good friends over at pewterreport.com, as well as other sources like Rick Shroud, Greg Auman, Jenna Lane, and the many other people who are able to attend these events. So let's start reading this article. Step back from the ledge, Bucs fans, it's going to be okay. After a rough first day of rookie minicamp that included a few errant throws and an interception, Bucs rookie quarterback Kyle Trask looked sharper during Saturday's practice. So again, real quick, Kyle Trask, depending on who you ask, either I had a pretty decent day, first day of practice, or he didn't do so good. Bruce Arians was very impressed with Kyle Trask in that first day of practice when everything is said and done, but even so, Kyle Trask looked better today in day 2 of the rookie minicamp than he did in day 1, which is always a good thing to hear, regardless of how well or not well you think he did in that first day. But anyway, continuing. While the majority of the group worked on special teams drills for the first half of practice, Trask and several coaches, including Clyde Christensen, worked diligently on the sides. That's very interesting. Clyde Christensen, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback coach, insanely experienced NFL coach, by the way, already, deep diving with Kyle Trask on the side there, really working with him and getting him going, and several coaches at that. So there's a lot of coaching being done here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers second round draft pick. That's very interesting that several coaches were over there really trying to get him to work and, do some really good things, and it seems like it worked out pretty well. But anyway, the rookie spent most of the time working on his footwork, simulating a snap from under center, dropping back and opening to his target. Christensen took plenty of opportunities to point out drop back details to Trask, with the duo spending a few minutes on where Trask's hips should be in relation to his target. So again, seems like a lot of work is being done here with Clyde Christensen in terms of just the mechanics of Kyle Trask and, getting him warmed up in terms of being an NFL quarterback, which is, sometimes very different to what's going on in college football. And here you have a video from Pewter Report. We are not going to look at that. But then continuing on, sessions like that will be more scarce when Trask is one of 4 quarterbacks on the field for Tampa Bay, but for now they are pivotal in developing the Bucs' second round pick. Trask has impressed the Bucs coaches with his ability to take in new information and bring it to the next snap. That was evident on Saturday as Trask had maybe 2 dangerous throws during the team period, with one coming as a desperation heave after a sack. Obviously, that's not a thing during this time of the offseason, as hitting is a big no-no, but still, Trask, hey, if you only had 2 bad throws throughout day 2 of this rookie minicamp, that's a pretty good day. But most of the afternoon, Trask impressed. The former Florida Gator zipped a pass between 2 zone-dropping linebackers and in front of safety Javon Hagen, who we will talk about in a little bit, for a tight window completion to Amara Darboh on a dig. Again, we will talk about Amara Darboh in a little bit, which the receiver caught in stride for a big gain. The ball didn't hit the ground very often in the team period, although Trask did take a sack on at least 2 reps when he couldn't find anyone open, which I don't mind that, to be completely honest. A quarterback taking a sack, I would actually prefer that to making an errant throw, which could result in an interception. Now, depending on what down it is, taking a sack could be detrimental for field position and things like that. If it's on third down, you might not want to take a sack. You may want to throw it away or something like that. But again, I like that Trask is already saying, hey, I'll take the sack instead of making a dangerous throw. I kind of like that mentality. Still, the day was another step in the right direction for the Bucs' young quarterback. It's not all simple stuff either, as defensive coordinator Todd Bowles mixed man and zone coverages while also sending extra blitzers and dropping out of pressure looks at times too. So Todd Bowles is really running Kyle Trask and his really makeshift offense through the ringer, and it seems like Trask is doing a pretty good job. After practice, head coach Bruce Arians had nothing but positive things to say about Trask's performance. "I think he's great," Arians said. "I thought he was fantastic. He's got 3 guys coaching the bleep out of him on every play. They need to calm down and let him go," Bruce said that laughing. Really pleased with him and where he is at right now. So again, more praise for Kyle Trask from Bruce Arians. It seems like things are going pretty darn good for the Buccaneers rookie quarterback. Defensive rookies leading the way. While Trask quarterbacks the offense, fellow rookie KJ Britt is in charge of the defense. 3 players stood out as clear defensive leaders and communicators on Saturday, with Britt the unquestioned top dog. The Auburn captain was heard above the din in every session, facilitating checks and making sure his teammates were lined up properly. Alongside Britt for almost every snap has been fellow rookie Grant Steward, who we actually talked about in yesterday's video as already shining to be a leader, a very strong vocal presence. Grant Steward comes up again today. Another vocal presence in the middle of the field. Stewart has lined up all over the place for the Bucs on defense, even blitzing off the edge on occasion on Saturday. When Britt was off the field for a rep, Stewart's voice could be heard as he roamed behind the defensive line barking orders. It's been fantastic. Those 2 guys are running the whole show already, and it's been really, really impressive. I imagine that is probably Bruce Arians talking there. Both players are held back by athletic limitations that will keep their ceilings far below the top 3 linebackers on the Bucs roster, but Britt and Stewart are both ultra-physical and highly intelligent football players, which typically bodes well for carving out a roster spot somewhere. Of course, the 2 traits are nothing more than a good start when it comes to making an NFL roster. More practices and preseason action will tell us a lot more about what the duo is capable of, but starring on special teams is their only prayer for a roster spot this offseason. That's their biggest chance right now, is to come in and show Keith Armstrong that they can be core special teams players, Bruce Arians said. You're talking 25 to 30 plays a game. That will be their role, and then continue to develop as a positional player. They can help a bunch, and that's the way to make the team. Now, one thing that I think is interesting here, which John does not say in the article, but if you see here, KJ Britt is in charge of the defense. 3 players stood out as clear defensive leaders. We hear KJ Britt. We hear Grant Stewart. I'm not sure who the third one is, but this is the second day in a row where Grant Stewart is putting in some good work. That is awesome to see. And we heard KJ Britt, I believe, talk a little bit yesterday, and we had some good quotes from him there. And now today, it seems like he's also showing up in practice just as an overall leader yet again. So KJ Britt, Grant Stewart, hey, good job, guys. That is awesome to see. But let's go ahead and take a look at some more practice notes. Hailing from North Texas, one of the things I wanted to see right away was if Jaelon Darden's speed and quickness translated to an NFL field. We'll see how he handles better competition, but the rookie was hands down the most explosive player on the field this weekend. Jaelon Darden's getting a lot of love, by the way, in these 2 days. Both yesterday by Taylor Jenkins and today by John Ledyard. Darden's releases left cornerback struggling to close the early separation, and in his transitions from receiver to post-catch runner were instant. I'm excited to see him against better competition in minicamp. Here on the next note, I like to note the little things when I'm watching practice because they often matter more than watching reps on air. I think the leadership safety Javon Hagen is taking with his group of young defensive backs is making an impression on the Bucs coaches. After a secondary session with safeties coach Nick Rapone and defensive coordinator Todd Bowles, players start to slowly filter back towards the main group. Hagen called everyone back and made sure they got a good break before moving on to the next drill. Hagen looked really good, Arians said after practice. He's lost about 10 or 12 pounds and looks really, really good. So I imagine that's who John Ledyard was alluding to earlier on in this article as the third strong defensive leader here. So you have KJ Britt, Grant Stewart, and then finally Javon Hagen, who are all 3 doing some pretty good stuff in terms of leadership. Grant Stewart, KJ Britt leading the linebackers, the front 7 really, and then Javon Hagen leading that secondary, which is pretty darn cool. Undrafted free agent offensive lineman Cedarius Hutchinson spent most of practice at right guard next to Robert Hainsey, who is continuing to train at center. We talked about that yesterday. Hutcherson looked impressive getting out of his stance and popping the blocking pads in the individual drills, but it's impossible to evaluate offensive linemen during the team's sessions. Arians said after practice that Hainsey will play all 5 offensive line positions for the Bucs. That's wild, by the way. We're going to train him so that he is ready to go just in case, Arians said. His position flexibility is amazing. He's going to play 5 spots. Center is a totally different bird. You learn the whole offense when you learn center, snapping the ball, especially when you've got Vita Vea and guys like that on you. That's going to be very interesting and fun to watch, by the way, Vita Vea against Robert Hainsey. That's a little different challenge, so we'll train him there. We know he can play tackle. We know he can play guard. It's just 2 days of rookie minicamp, but hard to say undrafted free agent cornerback Cameron Kinley isn't making the most of his opportunity. After intercepting Trask on Friday, Kinley made a great break on the ball to knock away a quick throw to TJ Simmons. Well, that's painful because it is on TJ Simmons, but good job to Cameron Kinley there. He's had 2 good days in a row now for both these rookie minicamp practices. The 6'2", 204-pound Navy product is an ultra physical on every rep, bodying Simmons to the sideline on a vertical route a few plays later. Again, pain for Simmons, but good job to Cameron Kinley. TJ Simmons is still doing good work in my opinion. If Kinley continues to play well in OTAs and minicamp, you can add him to the competition for cornerback 5 with Herb Miller, Nate Brooks, and Chris Wilcox. And I will throw another name in there, John Ledyard, for that cornerback 5 competition. So that is the end of the article, by the way. Again, thank you to John Ledyard for writing a very wonderful article there, but I want to add a little bit. So after practice, somebody had asked Bruce Arians about some of the players that he was impressed with, and one of the guys he said was Javon Hagen, who John did reference in the article here. But a couple more guys that he mentioned was Antonio Hamilton, who is a veteran cornerback who is on a tryout contract right now. Bruce Arians, to paraphrase here, had said, Antonio Hamilton's been good. He's been in the league for a little bit. So I would throw Antonio Hamilton into that potential cornerback 5 race as well. I would expect his tryout contract to turn into a full-time contract. Just my thoughts and opinions there. So keep an eye on Antonio Hamilton as well, former Kansas City Chief cornerback last year. He's been a veteran for a little bit. Bruce Arians also mentioned Curtis Riley, who is a safety who has been in the NFL for a few years as well. Again, another veteran guy who I expect his tryout contract, again, to translate into a full-time contract, which honestly, Curtis Riley could be a low-key, dark horse kind of guy to make the Buccaneers 53-man roster, as they still need a backup safety. And right now, Grant Steward is a linebacker, which, in my opinion, I thought that he had a strong potential possibility to be a backup safety. But if that's not going to be the case, maybe enter Curtis Riley or maybe enter Javon Hagen. I could see both those guys competing throughout the remainder of this offseason and going into the preseason as well. So, and then finally, he did mention Javon Hagen. So, very interesting there. Antonio Hamilton, Curtis Riley, and again, Javon Hagen were 3 players who Bruce Arians specifically was impressed with. In the case of Antonio Hamilton and Curtis Riley, I expect both those guys to sign full-time deals. And then in the case of Javon Hagen, he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, and he's already doing some good stuff again this year. He dropped a little bit of weight, 10 to 12 pounds, looking like a strong leader. That's going to be some pretty healthy competition there at cornerback and in that safety room as well. But guys, overall, that's it right now for this Buccaneers minicamp day 2 review. What do we have to gain on this? Well, number 1, which is a very interesting point to note, is Kyle Trask did better in day 2 than he did in day 1. And depending on who you ask, he either did all right in day 1 or he did good in day 1, which, either way, he did better, which is always a good thing to see signs of improvement. And they're really investing a lot of coaching in him. Clyde Christensen and several other coaches are, working with Kyle Trask on the sideline, trying to coach him up. I think that that's a big deal. Robert Hainsey playing all 5 positions along the offensive line, or at least training for that. He's the ultimate versatile offensive lineman, apparently, so that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I mean, he's going to be an absolute unit, I think, when everything is said and done, and I'm all here for it. Jaelon Darden continues to be amazing. Saying that he was the most explosive guy on the field, I think, is phenomenal. And also, by the way, speaking of wide receivers, I almost forgot one more guy. Amara Darboh was another guy Bruce Arians was impressed with. So throw him on that list as well. Amara Darboh, Antonio Hamilton, And then also you have Curtis Riley, who, 3 guys, and Javon Hagen, 4 guys that Bruce Arians was impressed with. Mar Darbo being thrown in there as well. But Jaelon Darden, most explosive guy on the field. That's pretty good. Cameron Kinley getting 2 days of pretty good reviews. Grant Stewart, KJ Britt getting 2 good days of reviews. The draft picks seem like they're going in and putting in some good work, and that's pretty good. And we're even hearing some stuff about some undrafted free agent guys, some veteran guys, and some guys who are returning to the team for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it seems like there are a few guys that have some very interesting opportunities ahead of them going into the remainder of this offseason. But what do you guys think about all of this? Let me know down in the comment section below. Again, shout out to John Ledyard, shout out to the guys at pewterreport.com. As always, I will link their website as well as their YouTube channel down in the pinned comment in the comment section. Go subscribe to their YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.